Okay, this is our post-observation conference with Mr. Lopez. Mr. Lopez is a Spanish teacher, and this was for a lesson in his Spanish class. Okay, Mr. Lopez, as we've been going over the questions, the interview protocol for the post-conference reflection conference, we've gone through three questions. Fourth question: how did your classroom procedures, routines, transitions, etc., enhance or detract from the lesson? What, if anything, would you adjust?
Well, because we're very into the first part of the quarter, they're adjusting on what I regularly do. The way I just give the papers, the way I want them to, put the papers back, the ones that are gonna assess or the ones that are gonna may put some points on, and use with the rubric thing. Um, I'm just going little by little with them because I know it's a hard piece to digest real quick on the first, on the first half.
Mm-hmm.
I'm now on the second half. You're almost there next week, so it's gonna keep adding stuff so they can't don't overwhelm themselves with the different things that I do.
Okay. Um, did you depart from your plans? If so, how and why?
I think I stick up to the plan. The
Okay.
the 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 only thing that I changed and the plan was because one of the things I'm over plan the majority of the time, and depends on the student level and how they are learning and how they are acquiring the new pieces or the new language they're working and practicing at the same time. I'm able to use different activities to engage them in the actual um, assessment piece.
Okay. Good. Number six. Please comment on different aspects of your instructional delivery. Example given: activities, grouping of students, materials, and resources. To what extent were they effective?
I'm looking forward right now. I'm using a lot of papers, and I'm aware about that. But the majority of the learning process, the majority of the students that I have, they are very visual, and I want them to, see every single day what they're learning. I don't want them to be like shooting in the dark. Like, I don't know what to do with this. This is a piece of paper I don't understand. So you see my papers. My papers are very with images, everything. So they will go to their paper. Hey, go to your notes real quick. Let's see what you got. And if he goes back or she goes back, go straight to the letter to their notes and say, "Oh, I do remember now because I have an image." So it's like I'm aware about the different students that I have. Now, the other piece is that I think eventually all of these papers and so it will go away. That's my main goal. I'm working on it, but we always need a piece of paper to work with. Not all the students learn in the same way, so I got to be aware of that, not overwork it, but at least have the right amount of work for them.
Okay. Question number seven. What did you learn from the informal and or formal assessments? How did the results impact your instruction and or student learning? How will you use this assessment data to fill future lessons for your students?
I think every single observation that I had, and this year I started very on it. Uh, it teach me not because I'm a teacher doesn't learn. I'm very reflectful about every single aspects of every single observation. I'm not taking nothing for granted. I'm If you tell me something, hey, Mr. Lopez, I saw this. What do you think it happened, or how do you modify that? And I will reflect on that. That's why when you show me this, I was like, yes, you were. So every single time that I'm being observed, I watch. I don't watch exactly what it went well. I go straight to the bad things. Why? Because I want those things to go up on the down well
I
part.
thought about when I gave you that sheet, I should have waited till later because I didn't
No, it's
want you to be
okay.
distracted by that.
No, and that's the thing. That's the way that I don't I know what I do well, and I know what is effective for. Obviously, you got to read the IEPs, you got to read everything, you got to have everything on point on the moment that you're building a lesson. But if something slip out, that's the important piece for me. I know if I have a student like Mr. Lopez, can you zoom it out a little more because has problems with vision? I will tell him, hey, you know that you should be on front of the class, so you're not supposed to be there. So let's go, and they will get mad. But I know it's to be effective personally, he needs to be in front. Yeah. Now I know that. Now, how do I work with the little things that are, the little kinks on the lesson is the part that I actually enjoy more.
Yeah. Number 8, if you had an opportunity to teach this lesson again to the same group of students, what would you do differently and why? That's part of we want to do this again. So okay.
I will remain the same. The only thing that I would change, it was the use of verbs. The way that it was built. I at some point they were aligned. All the verbs were aligned, and at some point one of the questions it was a little off, and I noticed that in the middle of the lesson. So one of the things that I gotta is before I just put a lesson out, just revisit the lesson before I teach it. I built that lesson like a week before I teach it. I do remember every single aspect of it, but I didn't that's me. I work better in that way. Like I don't overreact. I see what I got there, how do I present it, because I built it. I know exactly how it's built and how it's piece by piece are built up together. But sometimes I prefer to do it in that way because it will be more genuine expression about myself. Like if you go there with an already practiced lesson, let's say in that way, and the teacher sometimes, at least for me, it happens. Sometimes it won't be like I won't feel very natural. Let's say it that way. So I prefer to build the class, leave it there. I know what I did. My plan is there. Everything is there. And what I teach it is in the same way, like it's something new, but at the same time, I know what it is. It's kind of for some reason, I work in that way, and it helped and it worked. It worked the year by year, and it helped me at the same time. Yes, I'm a very reflective teacher. That's the only thing that I think that I will personally change. But like I said, it was pretty much it because it was hitting the objectives. The I can statements were there, like not visible, but with the actual lesson, exactly what I want them to do, it was there. So the end product was the actual end product that I want them to do. So it was aligned. Everything was aligned. The activities and everything. The only thing that I saw it was a little off. It was that, but no more than that.
Okay. Number 9, if applicable, how will you use assessment data collected from this lesson to monitor your SLOs?
Well, that in our case, our SLOs are very different, and we have the pre-assessment and post-assessment. Now, when I do the pre-assessment, it is more waiting. Let's see how it goes. So that will shape my entire lesson from the beginning. That starting pace. Let's say that I have a group of students that it happened to me last year that they understand the majority of the things, they get the majority of the things, and I was like, you know what? I got to step up on this group. So I knew exactly what was like my next step with that specifically that group. For the rest, it was a little lower, so I adjust my lesson for them. It was like just working with them now. For the end product, I just revisit if I see the same mistakes. Now I gotta rethink what had happened.
Okay.
But the majority of the time that I do in the first assessment, it helped me like right away.
Okay. All right, so we're done with this aspect of the post-observation. I wanted to turn to the sheet that I know you've taken a look at already, the post-observation sheet, where we have the bulleted done wells and areas for improvement. So the first bullet from the done well part, I thought that the pacing of your class was excellent. It moved briskly. Kids really didn't have a chance to be bored. I really enjoyed the pace of the course or the class. And I also like the transitioning. When you transition from one activity to the next, it was pretty seamless. You didn't have too many kids feeling lost or, wait a minute, what are we doing? Or any of that. They seemed to transition well, which to me said that you probably do this the same way all the time because they didn't seem to have a problem with the transitions. And it seemed like the lesson was planned out very well. And for the third bullet, variety of instruction that followed the same lesson theme. I like the fact that you had a variety in the lesson, but you followed the same theme. Mm-hmm. So I like that very much. I thought you chose interesting material that the students could relate to, something that would captivate their interest. And this was you used technology in the classroom, so it was a blended lesson. Mm-hmm. So that was good. Good use of the variety with the technology. And then you had a tactile learning integration within the lesson where the kids could pick the cards and take things and put them away and that sort of thing. So that was excellent. The environment in this classroom is visually stimulated for learning. Like you have the posters for the different Spanish-speaking countries, and I think that's, it provides for a good environment for the students. You got a piñata and guy with the hat and different items that are in Spanish, with a picture with the word in Spanish. So, kids can kind of, if they daydream, they can pretty much learn Spanish when they're not even looking. And, you have the numbers and objectives and everything that's in Spanish. So, I think it's really good in that regard. I also like, which I spoke with you and, your mentor, my former teacher, as a matter of fact, how you do a language immersive environment. And that's something that I think that's the best environment for students to actually learn the language. They can pick up nuances. They can pick up body language associated with spoken language. So I think that's a really excellent method. And I think that it forces kids to they have to become comfortable with using the language. And so I think it's good that it's basically they're forced to have to speak and consume the language. So I thought that was very, very good. It was excellent. Okay, so for areas of improvement, now the way this room, I'm going to take a quick picture of the room. The way this room is set up, this table back here, you had 4 students. You had Andre there in that seat, and I can't remember the other students.
It was Andre, Karen, Kayvon, and who was the other one? I had 3 here, 1 there, 1 here.
And maybe one person
up front here and 1 there, and 1 over there. Yeah.
So the kids right here in this table, they got about 85 to 90% of your focus. And I understand why, because naturally as teachers, we gravitate towards the kids that are willing to participate and that they're exuberant about learning. So that's a natural gravitation, as well as the loud kids that are off task. We kind of gravitate towards them. Mm-hmm. So that table had pretty much all of that. You had Andre, who was in and out, but trying to keep up, but he was, getting distracted. And you had the young lady right there who she must speak Spanish. Is that?
Yeah, she is a heritage speaker, but she is not her writing capacity is not up.
Okay. So, it's easy to put a lot of attention to that table, but unfortunately, with the idea of equity, we have to make sure that we address everybody in the class and give them an equal distribution of your attention. The young lady, Morales, I think her name is.
Morales.
Yeah, she was working a little bit, but she was getting a little distracted. And these are the kids that were sitting here, and I think maybe one was, no, I was sitting back there. They had checked out.
Yeah.
Cell phone, this guy, she was on her phone a little bit, and then he got on his computer. So, and you were moving pretty briskly. So I think, it was easy for them to kind of check out and not participate because it was a very participatory lesson. So just want you to be cognizant of that when.
The thing is that one of the things that I do one of the things that is in the middle right now is this projector right here. I used to use mine on some top.
Overhead.
Yeah. And because I want them to look at me, sometimes I move to the middle of the room. And I think that's a mistake, and I know that. But when I have my setup properly, those two tables are not supposed to be there. So I'll be talking from this side. Okay. Right. So why? Because this group right here, even though the students are in this corner, they're gonna look at me, and those over there, I'm not gonna be like, my peripheral vision will be affected because I will be like looking in the entire room. That's why I don't try the majority of the time to remain in the middle of the room, but because of this, it pushed me in some point to that way. All right. So, and it's true, the majority of the time you saw me, I was here on this corner. Yeah.
All right. Well, this ends our interview. I thought it was a great lesson. I enjoyed it. I felt myself wanted to participate. So, just keep doing what you're doing. The kids are very fortunate to have you.